Originally, it was going to be 50 millimeters of penetration removed from the high explosive, but thankfully, Wargaming came to their senses after a massive outcry of the community, and yeah, it's only going down 25. Now, that's still a pretty substantial amount. It means that the vehicle's basically going to be around 95-ish millimeters of pen, compared to 120 if you're running Cali. I mean, that's still plenty to cut through the rear and side of most vehicles, but it is a bit disappointing, because 120 millimeters is really nice, and it's the same amount that the Chieftain Mark 6 has, so it really doesn't make sense why Wargaming would take the pen away. To be honest, I think Wargaming is just changing this vehicle because they didn't know what to do with it, and they said, let's just move some of the values around. Because, in my eyes, increasing the DPM by 80 and then taking away some of the pen really doesn't seem like that much of a buff, or really that much of a nerf. It just seems like a rebalance that's not going to do much. I would much rather have the tank stay in its current state and keep the hash pen and stay at the same DPM, because it's already got plenty of DPM. It's got 2,650 base. If you're running Rammer, you can get it up to 2,850 or something like that. So it's got plenty of DPM. Mobility is fine. Gun depression is great. The only thing that I would want Wargaming to do to the Super Conqueror is make it more resistant to high explosive shells in the turret. Whether that is increasing the armor of the turret itself or increasing the spaced armor, I don't know. But it definitely has some major weaknesses when it comes to the turret, and that is what I would personally change on the tank. But at the end of the day, I am not the one who does the balancing. I am just the one who receives the balances. So let's see if we can get some damage into let's see if we can get some damage into this enemy. Yo, I had a bit of a brain fart there. But either way, you can see that Hesh pen already being able to cut through the side of the O. I'm not exactly sure if that would obviously be the case. Next update. We got the IS-7, but I'm not really able to cut through him, but as you can see, he is not able to cut through us either. So we're just gonna chill here for now. You can see that the majority of the enemy is we got a M103 off to the side as well. Rather interesting. But right now, I'm not gonna worry about the M103 or the enemy Yo. We're gonna cut through mid and see if we can get some damage into this convoy. A bonk, thank you for 410. The Super Conqueror gun is actually quite good, especially if you end up running refined gun. You can make the accuracy pretty solid. A lot of people always try to tell me the Super Conq gun is bad because it's accuracy or whatever. But if you're running it properly, the gun is actually pretty solid, which you can see here. Now that was a pretty lame amount of damage in that IS-7. Yeah, he's going to roll me back for a lot more. A 290 versus a 457. I don't think we won that trade, I'm going to be completely honest. There's just not much we can do right now. Our team is getting bled out. Well, not by a lot, to be fair, but they are getting bled a bit. And the V4 has gotten killed, though, which is actually quite important. We can see the M103 off to the side. Maybe we can hatch him? No, unfortunate. I'm just chilling here and waiting for the enemy to make a mistake, because there's not much to do right now. We do have the IS-7, but not able to pen that player at the current angle. And I also don't know what the enemy Yo is planning on doing. So, Alright, well, with the Conway not really off to our side anymore, and with the 4202 not really backing up, I'm just going to chill right here. Let's get a nice shell into the IS-7, and let's put on our adrenaline. We obviously feature pretty solid DPM in this tank, which means that even if this IS-7 does pen us, which he is going to, we will out-reload this player by quite a bit. And because we have more HP already, we're in a pretty solid scenario here. So let's get another pen into the lower plate of the IS-7, and let's back up, using this time to give us, obviously, the advantage of possibly loading in another shell. We're going to angle, but unfortunately we don't get a bounce. But that's all good, as we are already up to 3,000 damage in this game, which is a pretty solid chunk. This is where the Super Conqueror is just an incredibly fun vehicle. Plus, well, I was going to say we've got plenty of gun depression to cut through the IS-7, but I guess that just doesn't exist, and the game's not going to let me pen him. Either way, we should be able to cut through his turret. There you go. Nice pen. Just like that, the IS-7 is cleared. Okay, well, we got the Conway and the enemy FE4202 left. We've already dealt 3,200 damage, and we're going to see if we can get any extra out. I don't know if we're going to be able to, as the 4202 appears to be getting his butt clapped, but let's get a nice shell into the Conway. And, well, the 4202 did beat the E50M. Well, that's about all I can really say. We're going to climb over here, and let's see if the 4202 tries to poke me. If he does, this is going to be a very poor decision from his part, because we obviously have plenty of penetration to cut right through his turret. Speed, speed, speed. Bonk, right into his hatch. So there you go, pretty solid first battle for the Super Conqueror. You can see how even on flat ground, sure, we might not have the most armor, but we still have plenty of DPM and plenty of pen to cut through opponents in front of us, like that IS-7. So we were able to deal 3,530 damage, and this tank actually has a pretty solid credit coefficient, so we made 97,000 credits. I am really lacking in the credits department right now because I just purchased the Type 71, and I haven't even equipped the tank yet, and I still need to equip my Object 260, which I've talked about in previous videos. So right now I'm pretty poor, but that's why I've been playing my premiums quite a bit. Up against us, what do we have? Well, a Kron E3 57 heavy and a 50 TP. That's quite a bit of heavy tanks. Alright, well, what do we have? AMX 50B. It's not necessarily a super heavily armored vehicle, but we do have a 114 and an ST1, so I guess we got that. The 114 only has 2200 HP, which means he's not running sandbags. That's a bit unfortunate, but nothing we should have to worry about too much. We're going to use the Super Conqu's decent mobility and make our way down this slope. Take a blind shot into the bush, although it looks like that shell went a bit too high. Always go low at this area, because if you go high, there's a pretty decent possibility you might just get nukered. Okay, well, we got the 50 TP going wide, and, well, the thing I'm going to be worried about is TD sitting in this bush right here. So let's see. Doesn't look like I got detected, so as of right now, I don't think there are any tank destroyers in that bush. The 50 TP shoots and gets bled a little bit. We're going to get a nice shell ourselves into the 50 TP side. Then we're going to chill right here. This is a good example of where we can use the Super Conq in a pretty decent position to hold off the enemy. Let's see, what can we do here? Well, TVP appears that he might come off to the side. We also got the Conway over here, but that's not too much of a worry. We got a nice pendant to the enemy Conway, and we're going to reload. 3, a 2, a 1, and hello, Mr. TVP. Goodbye. Now, the good thing to say is that next update, I'm pretty sure we will still be able to cut through the lower plate of a TVP with our Hesh. And we're not actually reliably able to pen that 50 TP, so we're just going to pen it with a standard shell. The Conway is not actually dead yet, which is a bit surprising, but there you go. Nice pen right into the 50 TP's a little hatcheroony, and we're up to 2,100 damage already. You can see this vehicle's DPM being very solid, especially in the majority of situations you put it in. So this is what I always really like about the Super Conq, is that the tank is just very flexible. It's kind of like a Concept 1B, where you gain a lot of armor frontally at the expense of a bit of mobility, and that's about it. Maybe a little bit of DPM, but I mean, the gun is really solid, and I just really enjoy playing in the Super Conq in the majority of situations I put it in. You'll notice that the accuracy is more than enough. Like, sure, it's not the best, but it's .318 if you're running refined, and the gun is very accurate on move, making the vehicle actually quite enjoyable to drive. So we've got 2 shells into the enemy 704 at this point. He is still aiming at the enemy. I was really hoping we could somewhere pen the 704 with an HE shell, but literally looks like we will not be able to pen the 704 with HE. So I'm just going to chill right here for now, because even if the 704 pens us once, which the player will probably do so, I don't want to get shot by the E3 in the process, which we can see in mid. So I'm going to finish off the 704, and then just like that, we've been able to basically not bleed any other health. We do have the E3 off to the side. We also got the Kron over here aiming, and, well, yeah, that guy got obliterated. Oh, there's 57 heavy. Let's aim in a shell on him. There you go, one nice shot. Unfortunately, our driver does get killed, but nothing we can't handle. The 50B finishes that player off, and just like that, the enemy team is done. So we did a pretty solid job this game. Not only did we get some decent damage out, I'd be willing to say upwards of 4,000, but we were also able to get some bounces and just give our team an overall win. Again, this is why the tank is just super solid. I mean, the gun is great. The DPM is fine for what it is. We're not going to be able to get any damage, it appears, into this 50. Well, I was kind of hoping he'd back up, but it looks like he just wanted to die. Either way, pretty solid game. 3 kills, and once again, we're going to make another decent chunk of credits. So in my opinion, the Super Conq is still going to be a really good tank next update. And even though it's losing a bit of its overall Hesh capabilities, as you noticed, like in this game, it didn't matter too much. We didn't really fire that much Hesh apart from 1 shell into the TVP. So for the majority of situations, the tank really isn't going to change. And even though the pen's going down a bit, it's not going to matter too much. So the tank's kind of basically staying the same. I mean, 80 DPM is almost a non-noticeable amount. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. And let me know if you enjoyed it. But I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.